Hello, it's Lord Slar here, and today we're doing another one of the tier list videos. So don't worry, this isn't going to become a regular thing on my channel. It's just I'm still pretty buried in uni work, only a couple of weeks off finishing it now, but I still need to do kind of a easier video before I get back to doing some bigger projects, which there are going to be plenty of over the summer because I've got nothing to do. So hopefully you're looking forward to that, but in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video because I got a positive reaction on the last one, and today we're doing seasons. I imagine I've got a few controversial opinions in this area, especially if you're more of a New Who fan, but we'll get onto that towards the end since it is all done in order. So let's start with Season 1, which is straight away going in the amazing category, no doubt about it. Absolutely adore this season. Yeah, there are a few episodes that maybe objectively are pretty lacking, like, the last half of The Unearthly Child, which, to be fair, I'm not really a big fan of, and The Keys of Marinus and The Sensorites, but I still love those two stories. Despite all of their shortcomings, there's just something that's just great about this season, and I love the Daleks. That's a masterpiece. Marco Polo is a beautiful bit of historical fiction, and then I also love the Aztecs, of course, and the Reign of Terror is good fun too. And I think what really makes this season, even the episodes where the writing's in there, is just such a great sense of adventure, such a brilliant atmosphere, and a lovely dynamic with the TARDIS crew, and one which you haven't really seen again, where it's kind of an antagonistic TARDIS crew. I mean, you kind of have seen that again, but not done this well, because it's in a way that's more grating when it's done like that later on, like, say, with Clara or the, season 19 TARDIS crew. But here, it's a lot of fun, because they all pull together in the end when they need to, and it's really nice and heartwarming, and they're all just really great, well-written characters, which is why you want them to get along. And I love Season 1 a bit. Excellent stuff. Season 2, I'm only going to say great, which is still obviously a brilliant rating, because there is going to be a season in at least every one of these categories, I'm sure. But Season 2 just misses out on being amazing. I probably wouldn't put it this high if it was from any other era but the 60s, but there's something about the 60s which is so alluring. As I said, it's the sense of adventure and some of the great TARDIS teams, which Season 2 was one of my favourites, because I love Vicky. She's such a brilliant companion. The stories aren't quite as good in Season 1, which is why I'm kind of ranking it below it, because let's say what's good from this season: the Rescue, the Romans, the Crusade, and the Time Meddler, which are all great stories, but the great stories I said from Season 1, the Daleks, Marco Polo, and the Aztecs, are definitely better stories than the ones from Season 2, but it's still solid. There's a couple of episodes which are a bit of a miss for me. I'm not too keen on Daleks Invasion of Earth, actually. It's still a decent watch, but I feel it's a missed opportunity in a lot of ways. Go check out my video on the Dalek Invasion of Earth where I compare it with The Chase if you want to know my opinion on that. And then you've got like Planet of Giants, which is a bit The Web Planet, which can be enjoyable if you're in the right mood, but I don't know, I'm not too sure on it. And then the Space Museum, which starts off well, but the last half of it's pretty poor. But yeah, Season 2 just gets great. As for Season 3, I'm only going to put this in a good. And again, this is another season that, if it wasn't in the 60s, would probably be lower. Because there's only like a couple of stories from this season I really like. Yeah, I love the Daleks' Master Plan, the Massacre, and the War Machines. And there's some other episodes that are quite good in it too, but I don't know, it doesn't really have that many standout episodes beyond that, because you kind of got Galaxy 4, which is alright, you've got Mythmakers, it's alright, you've got The Ark, it's alright, you've got Celestial Toymaker, it's alright, you've got The Savages, it's alright, it's just alright, and I'm not ashamed to show my bias here, it's only because it's a 60s season it gets as high as good. Otherwise it would definitely be indecent, because most of the episodes are just alright. So now we're moving into the Troughton era, or at least kind of, because there's two Hartnell episodes in Season 4. But I am going to put this in... Okay, I think I've got to put it in great. Actually, do I? Probably is more... No, I'm putting it in great. I mean, it's got Power of the Daleks in. I couldn't put it any lower than that, and that's pretty much the only reason. I mean, The Smugglers is kind of a bit... I don't really like that one. 10th Planet, it's good. I don't like it as much as everybody else, but it's good. Then Power, obviously, brilliant. Highlanders, that's a good story. Underwater Menace, that's absolute trash. Matter of Terror, great. Faceless Ones, great. Evil, great. Yeah, I think it definitely belongs in great, despite having a couple of pretty bad stinkers. And yeah, it's got Power of the Daleks in, man. If you've watched my channel for long enough, you know how obsessed I am with that. I am with that story. So it should be no surprise it's getting that high. Season 5, this is definitely among the amazing seasons. It's just classic after classic after classic. It's a season full of classics, except for maybe The Abominable Snowmen. I'm not keen on that one at all. But aside from that, excellent. I mean, Tomb of the Cybermen, oh, I will never not love that story. It's one that it has a very special place in my heart. And then you've got The Ice Warriors, good story. Enemy of the World, brilliant story. Web of Fear, brilliant story. Fury from the Deep, good story. Wheel in Space, I actually like the Wheel in Space. I mean, it may not be as strong as most of the season, but I still think it's decent. And season 5, so much fun. And Troughton just at the peak of his powers. Troughton and Hines just... Because, I mean, obviously their chemistry just gets better and better as the show goes along. So technically their chemistry is even better in season 6. But I feel because the story quality is, on the whole, higher in season 5, it's at its best here. And I do like Victoria as well. She's a good companion. Although I have to say I do prefer Zoe. Which, speaking of which, season 6, which... Yeah, again, this is very much showing my 60s bias, the fact I'm putting season 6 as a grade. Because, yeah, the Dominators, I like it, but I recognise it isn't very good. And then the Crotons and the Space Pirates, oh, put me to sleep. They're terrible. But it's all made up for by the Mind Robber, the Invasion, the War Games, and even the Seeds of Death. I mean, because the first 3 episodes I mentioned there, all-time great. Brilliant stories. I will never get sick of watching them. And then the Seeds of Death's a lot of fun as well. I used to absolutely love that when I was quite little. I would watch that just religiously all the time. I mean, after all, my name is Lord Slaw, which is the name of the Ice Lord in that episode. And yes, I know it's spelt wrong, but it's too late now. That's my name. It has been for so long. But yeah, season 6. Yeah, excellent season despite having a couple of very poor episodes. Season 7, well, of course this is going in amazing. I mean, of course, it's season 7. It's far and away the best ever Doctor Who season. Like, it's just 4 really solid classics. Spearhead, Silurians, Ambassadors, and Inferno. All just amazing in their own right, all unique from each other, and all just so well written. It's just... I wish they'd do more seasons like this, where they just focus on writing like 3 or 4 really good stories, rather than, writing lots of filler and kind of passable stories, especially these days. Because I think season 7 just really shows quality over quantity. Because everybody loves season 7. Even people who don't really watch Classic Who, if they watch a bit and they see season 7, they're like, okay, that one's great. It's like everybody likes it. Quality over quantity, man. I want to see more like it. Season 8. This is difficult. Where do I put season 8? Very good or great? Definitely one of the two. I think I'm going to have to only put it in very good, though. If it was a 60s season, it'd definitely be in great, because again, big 60s bias, not ashamed by it at all. And I do love Terror of the Autons, I do love The Mind of Evil. The Demons is pretty good. I even like Colony in Space. What else is there? Oh, The Claws of Axos, that's a great one as well. Oh, go on, I'll put it in great, because it is a really solid season. Season 8 is just so much fun. I mean, yeah, the Master probably shouldn't have been in every story, but still, most of them are of really solid quality, and I love The Mind of Evil, and I think it's really The Mind of Evil that made me realise that I should probably put season 8 one up. It's similar to season 7 in the sense that each story is just very, very unique from every other one in that season. They each try to do something quite different, which that's always got to be respected in a Doctor Who season. So now we're on to season 9, and I'm putting this in substandard. I don't like season 9 at all. So it's got the Curse of Peladon. Curse of Peladon, excellent. Never going to take anything away from the Curse of Peladon. But outside of that, not really keen on anything else. I think the Sea Devils is just kind of a poor man's Silurians. What else is in that season? Day of the Daleks is alright. I'm not going to be critical of Day of the Daleks. But it's just alright. And then you've got the Time Monster. It's kind of fun with how shit it is, but it's still shit. And then the Mutants, that's a snore fest if I've ever seen one. And I've got to say, season 9 is substandard. Not a fan, I'm afraid. Season 10. That's got going great. I think that's the pinnacle of just a really consistent, aside from maybe season 7, but just a really consistent season of Doctor Who, because it's just all really solid. So you've got the three Doctors, fun little run around with, lots of Doctors with Omega, really cool concept. Got Con of Monsters, great. Robert Holmes double acts, and just a great concept all around. And you've got Frontier, big space adventure. We need more episodes like that, as I always say. Planet of the Daleks, good homage to 60s Dalek stories, even though it's unoriginal. And Green Death, just brilliant bit of character drama there. And with a great plot and great messages in it. I love season 10. Season 10 is just a lot of fun. Holds a special place in my heart. Yeah. Season 11, very good. I think Season 11's an underrated one, actually. It often goes under the radar, or even for some people, kind of the Pertwee season that was a bit of a misfire. But I disagree with that. I think it's very solid. Time Warrior, great story. Invasion of Dinosaurs, great story. Forget the dinosaur, effects, because, it's classic. Of course the effects aren't that great for the most part, but it's like there's a really good story in there. Another great Hulkian conspiracy story. And then you've also got Death of the Daleks, lots of fun. Monster Prevalent, I actually like. Sue me. And then you've got Planet of the Spiders, which is Pertwee distilled down to his purest form, and it's a fun watch. Season 11, very good, underrated one. I get the feeling this great category is going to get a bit crowded. Actually, I suppose because we're kind of getting to further away from the episodes, seasons I consider to be great, but still, season 12, I was tempted to put them very good, but I thought, no, I can't. Only because of Genesis of the Daleks and the Ark in Space. They really bring the season up, because they're two of my all-time favourites. I love those two stories. Robot's good. Not too keen on the Sontaran Experiment and Revenge of the Cybermen. Maybe I should put it in very good, but nah. It's just Genesis of the Daleks and the Ark in Space just drag this season up. That's just how it is, really. Season 13. Great or very good. I think... So this is going to be controversial, because a lot of people consider this one of the best seasons ever. I'm only going to put it very good. Because the only one from season 13 I'd say was one of my all-time favourites would be The Seeds of Doom. Which, honestly, by itself is almost worth a grade. But no. I'm sticking with my guns here. And I do like Pyramids of Mars. That's another great one in that season. And Planet of Evil's quite good too. But I'm not so keen on The Brain of Morbius, or The Android Invasion, or Terror of the Zygons. I don't know. Terror of the Zygons is still a good story, but it's just... I don't get where the hype is. The Brain of Morbius I don't like at all. Don't even talk to me about The Brain of Morbius. I really don't get why that's considered a classic. And then Android Invasion, it's like... Terry Nation kind of forgets how to write compelling drama for 6 episodes. But yeah, season 13, only very good, which might be a controversial. I still want to put it in great, though, because it's Seeds of Doom. But no, we're going to leave it very good, just to be controversial, just to be a contrarian. And speaking of which, season 14 better than season 13. That's probably going to be another controversial one. I love season 14. And yeah, the Massive Mandragora does suck. And I'm not a big fan of The Face of Evil either. But the rest of it, excellent. I think The Hand of Fear is extremely underrated. That one's a brilliant story. And I think it should be in contention to be among the Tom Baker greats, which it isn't currently. Which is sad, because I love that story. And then obviously you've got Deadly Assassin, Robots of Death, and Towns of Weng-Chiang. Just stone cold, brilliant classics. There's some of the best Doctor Who has to offer, and that's why it's in the amazing category, because, those 3 stories, they'll never go out of contention for some of the best ever Doctor Who stories. They're always going to be considered classics. They're excellent stuff. Season 15. Now, this is going to be a bit of a hard one to rank. I think I'm going to have to go for decent, though. And the thing is, Season 15 is half pretty good, half pretty awful. Which is, I think, why, putting it in the middle is probably a fair rating. Because you have Horror of Fang Rock, brilliant. Invisible Enemy, brilliant. And Image of the Fendahl, good. And then they completely run out of both budget and ideas with the Sunmakers, Underworld, and the Invasion of Time. Now, the Sunmakers has the potential to be a great story, but it's just kind of let down by the production. Obviously, with Classic Who, you've got to look past, cheap effects and all that, which I usually can do, but I don't know. I think it's probably because I read the Target novel first, and reading all of the beautiful descriptions of the world in that is kind of... I don't know, it jaded my opinion of when I came to actually watch the story. It just doesn't quite work because, as I said, the budget had completely ran out, and it's difficult to suspend your disbelief when they're trying to tell you these grey council flats are the far future on Pluto. I don't know. With season 15, it just gets a decent. And even if you don't agree with me on some matters, I'm sure you agree with me on Underworld Invasion of Time, which are crap. Season 16. Yes. It's going in the amazing category. Another controversial one. I love Season 16. I don't get why it isn't considered one of the all-time greats. It was magnificent. Yeah, Power Crawl is a bit naff, and Armageddon Factor is just tripe. But the first 4 stories, it recaptures the sense of adventure, which I felt had been absent from Doctor Who since the 60s. Obviously, Doctor Who always has a sense of adventure, but the really solid kind of wedges bumbling around the universe, coming up against all of these very different societies. And if Season 16, with just its boundless creativity, imagination, different worlds, I think just captures that perfectly. I mean, Ribos Operation, great little Holmesian story, love it a bit. Again, very unique world. Then you got the Pirate Planet, Douglas Adams classic, one of the greatest concepts for a Doctor Who story. Having a planet which materializes around smaller planets and plunders them for their wealth. I mean, it's just insanely good. Then you got Stones of Blood, beautiful gothic horror, would fit right in the Hinchcliffe era, and Andra Tatara, which I love to pieces. It feels like almost like a kind of old time novel, and there's just been so much fun about it. It's brilliant stuff. I love Season 16. It's going to be amazing. Season 17, I think I'm going to have to just go for decent for that. Yeah, maybe you can get good. Oh, go on. I'll give it good, but that's only because of City of... Actually, no, thinking about it, City of Death's kind of cancelled out by Destiny of the Daleks, so decent. Alright, so Season 17, quite a mixed one. This is definitely where the wheels started to come off the Graham Williams era. So Destiny of the Daleks is one of the worst ever Doctor Who stories, and it just feels like it has no effort put into it whatsoever. It's shockingly bad. But then you've got City of Death, which is outstanding. And then it kind of, bumbles about in quality. I haven't actually seen Nightmare of Eden, so maybe that would change my opinion. Because Nightmare of Eden is the only classic story I haven't seen, and I've kind of refused to watch it because I don't want to have classic Who for myself. Because it's been the last episode I haven't seen for 4 years now, so that kind of gives you an idea. And then obviously you've got Horns and Imon. It's fun, but it's definitely not anything to shout about. Creature in the Pit, that one's actually better than its reputation. You never hear anybody talk about Creature in the Pit, but it is actually quite a solid story. And then you got Sharda, which some people say, oh yes, it is season 17. Some people say, oh no, it was never made. I'm going to say it's season 17 because that's what it was intended to be a part of, and it's a good story. Maybe I think it got a little over mythologized due to it not being completed, because it's not as good as people said it was, but it's still a really solid, fun story. Season 18. I'm really sorry, Season 18 fans. I'm really sorry, but I'm putting it in substandard. I don't like Season 18. I don't. It's Keeper of Troughton and Legopolis. They're good stories. I can live with them. I can get down with them. The rest of it, I don't get any enjoyment out of. The Leisure Hive, just trash. I'm sorry, it's trash. Meglos, it's just kind of there. I can barely remember what it was about, to be perfectly honest. And then you've got Full Circle, it's alright. State of Decay, I really don't like that one. I don't know why, it just rubs me the wrong way. And Warrior's Gate, which, I don't know, I've watched it twice. The first time I really liked it, the second time I couldn't stand it. But there you go. Substandard, I'm afraid. I don't like the vibe Season 18 goes for, and I don't think that most of the stories are really that high of a quality. One thing I do have to respect, though, is the way they try to go for something very different here, in terms of going for the very hard science, and some of the visuals are brilliant in Season 18. Season 18 is one of the best looking classic Who seasons. It's really, really quality, and I can see why that was one of the first ones they did on Blu-ray, but I still don't like it. Season 19... I think this one is going to have to go in substandard as well. It could almost be poor, to be perfectly honest, but I think it just about escapes that. What does it? I don't know, actually thinking about it. I mean, the only episode I like is Earthshock, so I think it is going to have to be poor. It's like, yeah, Earthshock's good, but Castrovalva, Fort of Doomsday, Kinder, I suppose Kinder's good. But no, I've still got to put it in poor, because I don't like Black Orchid, Visitation, Earthshock, good, and then you've got Time Flight, which is one of the all-time worst. Oh, God, okay, I'll put it in substandard, against my better judgment, but what really makes you want to put it in poor is just how poor the TARDIS team dynamic is. I actually went over this in my Time Flight reappraisal, which was my previous video, a little bit about why I don't think that TARDIS crew dynamic works at all, or why it works even worse without Adric somehow. But yeah, season 19, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of 80s Doctor. I mean, I still like 80s Doctor. There's still plenty of good stories, but it's the 60s and 70s for me. That's always going to be my kind of era of Doctor Who. Season 20. No, it's going to have to go in substandard as well. So, Arc of Infinity, appalling. I can't stand that one. Mordrin Undead's good. What's the next one? Oh, Terminus. That's utterly dreadful. Oh, Snake Dance was before that as well. Snake Dance is good. Enlightenment's really good. And then you got the King's Demons, which is dreadful. So even though it's got 3 stories I quite like, it has 3 utterly dreadful stories. So I don't think I can't not put it in substandard. And before you say The Five Doctors is not a part of season 20, it's a one-off special in the same vein as Day of the Doctor. That's how it's counted on Doctor Who the Classic Series website. I will not hear any arguments on this. That's going to get some people salty. Season 21. Good. Am I being a bit too generous there? Maybe, but no, I'm going to keep it there. Because it is a significant improvement. The tone is better, the characters are better, and by the Caves of Androzani, it is excellent. I mean, I think the only reason it's getting this high is because of the Caves of Androzani, because that is one of the best ever Doctor Who stories, and they did make significant improvements on the previous Davison seasons in a lot of respects. And yeah, I like Frontios, I like Resurrection. Awakening's not bad. I don't get the hate for that one, it's not bad. But then obviously you've got Warriors of the Deep and the Twin Dilemma, which are pretty bloody awful. But as I said, when it's got a story just as ball-bustingly brilliant as the Caves of Androzani, no, I can't put it lower than good. It just for that alone, it deserves to be good. And I just think it deserves recognition for improving on some of the failings of the previous 2 Peter Davison seasons. Season 22 goes in very good for me. Kind of a weaker very good, but still definitely a very good. I really enjoy this season. So Attack of the Cybermen, it's fun. It's not one of the greatest stories ever or anything, but it's fun, even if it does do a bit too much fan-likey retreading. Then you've got Vengeance on Varos, excellent story. Mark of the Raleigh, that's fun. 2 Doctors, that's a pretty good story as well. Time Lash, obviously one of the all-time worst, but then you have Revelation of the Daleks, which I love to pieces. God, it's such a dark piece with so many great, interesting themes it plays with, and so many great characters, and so many great double acts, and just there's so many great things about this. It feels like art, to be perfectly honest. Like in the way it's constructed, I love it. I love it a bit. Revelation, and that's definitely why it gets into the very good category rather than just being a good. Season 23, I think I'm going to just have to put it decent. It's not a bad season, but I'm not its biggest fan either. Mysterious Planet and Mind Warp are pretty good. I enjoy them, but that's not quite enough to get you very, much further up than good. And then you have Terror of the Vervoids, which is absolute pants. The worst murder mystery I've ever seen. Because the murderer, he barely gets any screen time. I didn't even know who that character was, if I'm perfectly honest, when he was revealed. And then you have The Ultimate Foe, which starts off well, and then obviously Robert Holmes sadly died while writing it, so the second part was written by Pip and Jane Baker, and the second part's shit. So yeah, it's got to be a decent one, just a decent one. Not bad considering the circumstances it was made in, but still, I like it. Season 24, Abysmal. The first Abysmal. Yeah, season 24 is just shit, isn't it? Although that's actually more of a controversial opinion these days, because people seem to like it more than they used to. I've seen quite a few people kind of defending episodes like Paradise Towers a bit more, especially Paradise Towers. People seem to have grown to like that. I still don't like it, although obviously the worst of this season's Time of the Brady. It's unforgivably awful, and you can just go back to the top 20 worst Doctor Who episodes live stream when I can't get Time of the Rani onto the shortlist. I was very, very salty. That's how much I dislike that story. Paradise Towers, don't like it. Dawn of Adamant's kind of fun, but it is still pretty crap. And then obviously got Dragonfire, which is just kind of there. It doesn't really work for me. So sorry, Shay, if anybody remembers Shay, who used to come on the channel quite a bit, because he loves season 24. I don't. Fuck it. Season 25. I'm just going to give this good. And yeah, that's probably a controversial opinion these days, because season 25 went through quite a renaissance in opinion. Now it's one of the pretty well liked ones, but I don't know, it's good episodes I'm not as keen on as other people are. So like, let's go through them. Remember to the Daleks? Everybody's like, oh, it's one of the best episodes ever, blah, 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 blah. For me, it's just kind of a decent Dalek action story. It doesn't really have a whole lot to it other than that, to be perfectly honest. Other than, like, you know, the kind of Cartmel Master Plan, which I'm not the biggest fan of, to be perfectly honest. So it's good, but it doesn't really do it that much for me. And you've got Happiness Patrol. That one's good. Silver Nemesis, absolute shit. And The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which is good. Yeah, I really dislike Silver Nemesis, and it's probably Silver Nemesis that's holding me back from calling it very good. But yeah, just good. I think it's lucky it was getting for a decent with a story like Silver Nemesis in, but there you go. Season 26. Very good or great? Nah, you see, I think I've got to put it in just very good. No, alright, I'll give it a great, because it is a great season. Battlefield, a lot of people don't like it, it's fun. Ghostlight, it has its issues in terms of actually being able to tell its story, but I don't know, it's still alright, it's still a good story. Curse of Fender, brilliant, love that, and I love Survival too. Just, yeah, it's really Curse of Fender and Survival that do it for this season. Really great for the character development of Ace, and just really solid stories overall, and the other two are fun to watch. I especially love Battlefield in terms of just pure switch your brain off and watch some absolutely stupid Doctor Who that's mindless. Yeah, season 26 gets a great. And speaking of great, this is going to be the highest ranked New Who series. Series 1. Oh, I love Series 1. It's far and away the best New Who series. Not a single one gets close to it. I love Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor. He was a brilliant choice. I'm so sad that we'll probably never get to see him again as the Doctor. And man, there's 3 stories which really drag this up to being one of the best. And that is Dalek, Empty Child Doctor Dances, and Bad Wolf Party of the Ways. They are just among some of the best ever Doctor Who. Absolutely brilliant. The rest of it pretty much all falls into being pretty mediocre aside from that. But, you know, there's worse. There's worse than being mediocre. Season 2. I think that's probably got to go in substandard, because it does have Impossible Planet, Satan Pit, which is brilliant. It does have Rise of Cyber Age of Steel, which is good. But I'm not really a big fan of the rest of it. And then it has episodes like Love and Monsters, Fear Her, and The Idiot's Lantern, and newer. In fact, you know what? It's going in poor. Just talking about the bad episodes. The good episodes in this series, which there are a couple, in no way make up for the bad. And I have to say, what really drags it down is the 10th Doctor and Rose. There is nothing in the entire universe, except for maybe Clara, which is more aggravating than these two as a couple. Man, I strongly, strongly dislike it. And I definitely need to at some point go and address this properly, because it's something I've kind of brought up on my channel a lot, but I've never went in depth as to why I don't like the 10th Doctor and Rose. So hopefully that'll be a video during the summer to come out. Series 3... I really want to put it in substandard, but I feel that would almost be unfair. But I'm going to do it anyway. Oh wow, Tennant fans aren't going to like me. The only reason it's going in substandard is because I really hate the dynamic between the 10th Doctor and Martha. Because Martha's kind of, you know, off-puttingly fawning over the Doctor for the whole series, and then the 10th Doctor's just a massive dick. he's essentially like emotionally manipulating her and abusing her into hanging around him because he likes the attention. But obviously knows what she's up to, but isn't interested because Rose. And I really don't like the 10th Doctor in Series 3 at all. And that's the reason why it's substandard, because the stories themselves, there aren't an awful lot of bad ones. And I really like Human Nature Family of Blood. Utopia's good. Blink's good. Even like Gridlock's not bad. And there isn't, aside from Last of the Time Lords, there isn't really a story I hugely dislike. Or maybe Lazarus Experiment as well. But I'm still putting in substandard just because of that dynamic, because it makes even my favourite episodes from this season a little hard to watch, unfortunately. So I'm sorry, Series 3 fans, it's going in substandard. Series 4. Now, does this go in good or very good? No, I think it just goes for good, because New Who just isn't my thing, is it? Because even when there's a series with quite a few good episodes, it's still just the overall feel of it is just off-putting. But Series 4, it's got a few great episodes. I like Planet Viewed. I like Science Library Forest of the Dead. I absolutely love Midnight and Turn Left. Stone Cold classics. Like, the best episodes of New Who since like Series 1. They're brilliant, except for maybe Impossible Planet Satan Pit. But yeah, I love those. The rest of the series, there's not an awful lot of terrible episodes. I really don't like Journey's End personally, but that's mostly because it's fan wank that isn't for me. And yeah, I think I'm just putting it in good because, as I said, the whole feel of New Who and the Tennant era just is not my thing at all. So even when there's a series that there isn't an awful lot I don't like about it, like in terms of the stories, I still can't really put it that high because the overall feel just is my thing. It's only really Series 1 which kind of had a feel I enjoyed. So yeah, Series 4 just gets a good. I'm probably forgetting a few episodes. I forgot the Doctor's daughter and the Sontaran Strategy Poison Sky. They're shit. There we go. That justifies it a bit more. That's why it's dragged down. Series 5. Decent. I think it gets decent. There's not a whole lot wrong with this series. I like the feel of it more than the kind of later, like the David Tennant, Russell T Davies stuff. It's still not quite my thing, but I do like it more than that, so which kind of, drags it up above something like Series 3, which probably has the same amount of good episodes. And then I do enjoy the Angel two-parter. I do enjoy Amy's Choice, and I love Vincent and the Doctor. The rest of the series, I can kind of take it and leave it. I'm not a big fan of Beast Below. Hungry Off Cold Blood is just a Silurians rip-off. Again, that's now 2 Doctor Who and the Silurians rip-offs in Doctor Who history. And I'm not a big fan of the finale either, but it's alright. It's not bad. I don't hate watching Series 5, and there's a few episodes I enjoy. I feel I'd be very harsh to put it below decent, but I would be being way too generous to put it good, so definitely a decent. Series 6, even that might be a bit generous, but no, it can't be abysmal because it has The Girl Who Waited. Because The Girl Who Waited is brilliant, and the God Complex isn't too bad either. And the half of the Doctor's wife with Amy and Rory is good. Not so keen on the bit with the Doctor and like the weird incarnation of the TARDIS as a person. But yeah, and the rest of the series, not too great. Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, kind of starts off really interesting, but it completely derails itself over the course of the series. I don't like A Good Man Who Goes to War. A lot of people love that one. I just think it's pretentious tripe. The Ganger two-parter, when they decide to bring back the writer of Fear Her, that one's absolutely dreadful. Closing Time, one of the worst ever Doctor Who stories, and The Wedding of River Song is possibly the worst finale in all of... Actually, no, it's not. What am I talking about? There's 3 clearly worse finales coming up after this. But at this point, it was the worst ever Doctor Who finale. And I can remember Series 6 is what put me off Doctor Who for a few years. In the early 2010s. And honestly, if it wasn't for The Girl Who Waited, I would have no hesitation in putting it in Abysmal. So, you're lucky. You were saved by Tom McRae, who needs to come back right another episode, because I like both of his. Series 7, I have no hesitation about putting that one in Abysmal. Man, the Amy and Rory dynamic in the first half of Series 7 is awful. The 11th Doctor and Clara dynamic is horrific in the second part. And there is no good stories in Series 7. There is none. I don't enjoy a single story from Series 7. There's some that aren't bad, there's some that are just mediocre, but there's none that are good. And there is some that are awful. And that's just a recipe for just a terrible, terrible season. I think it's got to be the worst ever. Possibly, like, just beating Season 24. Because I can actually get a little bit of enjoyment out of Delta and Abandonment when I've had a few, you know? But I can't get enjoyment out of any of Series 7. It's just crap. Series 8 then. Series 8. Substandard or poor? I think it's got to go in poor, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit, it is pretty much Clara who's dragging it down. If it had like a less insufferable companion, I probably would like it a bit more. But yeah, pretty poor season. A Deep Breath is a terrible new Doctor story. I don't understand why people like that. It's barely got Capaldi in, and the story, it doesn't actually tell a story. Like, you know, it's meant to be about these clockwork people, but they barely appear in it. It's like they're in at the beginning of the story, then don't reappear until 37 minutes in, and there's all this bollocks about a T-Rex, and just barely anything goes on. And it seems more about Clara and the Victorian lesbian crew than actually about, you know, the Doctor and a Doctor Who story. And then the Daleks alright, Robot Sherwood's alright, and I do like Flatline and Mummy on the Orient Express, but Time Heist is terrible. Kill the Moon and is one of the all-time worst. Dark Water's okay, but then Death in Heaven is even worse than the Wedding River Song, and that is definitely an episode that needs a video dedicated to it, because that is one that doesn't receive enough hate, in my opinion. It definitely needs to get a bit more criticism, which I'm hoping to bring in a future video. And yeah, I don't like Series 8. I do like Capaldi's Doctor, though. Capaldi's Doctor looks promising in this, and he completely tails off in future seasons, and I'm not really a big fan of him after this, but oh well. Series 9, it's going to abysmal, and there are a lot of Series 9 stands that are not going to be happy that I've done that, but whatever, you know, you have your opinion, I have mine. Series 9 is absolute shite. It abuses the two-part format awfully. Like, so let's look at first opener, the Dalek one. Like, the first episode is basically just a 45-minute long prologue, and the second one is just all retreading old water from Genesis of the Daleks, and unironically doing the bit from The Curse of Fatal Death, where he bribed the architect first, because, you know, the Doctor and Davros spend like 20 minutes having this really great, gripping conversation, but it turns out they were both lying, so it was just a waste of our time. That was an awful episode. And Night Before the Flood wasn't bad, I suppose. Girl Who Died, Woman Who Lived, it's not a two-parter, because they're completely different stories. They only share like two characters in common, and one of them's the Doctor, and yeah, they're both pretty crap. And Girl Who Died, I have a specific bone to pick with that. Why is the Doctor talking baby taken seriously in the scene? Because it was a terrible joke to begin with, but now they want us to take it seriously as like an emotional scene. Fuck that. I can take some of the fucking... I can take the Merker from Warriors of the Deep more seriously than that. As at least the script is trying. And then, what else is in Season 9? Series 9. God, I forgot what comes after that, actually. Some bollocks. Oh yeah, the Zygon one. That's crap. And then obviously you've got Face the Raven, which is alright. Sleep No More, which is shit. And then Heaven Sent, which is a masterpiece. But Hellbent, which is one of the all-time worst. Series 9, fuck it to hell. And the Clara 12 dynamic here is even worse than Series 8. Oh my god. Like, the Doctor's become this kind of cringy granddad for no reason. And Clara is even more insufferable somehow. Actually, maybe she's a little less insufferable in this series, but not by much. Yeah, I hate Series 9. Really do. Series 10, on the other hand... Ooh, should I be generous? No, I think decent is definitely the right one for it. Series 10, is decent. It was a really weird kind of thing, because Moffat had kind of went to such low depths, if you have a look at all the Moffat series in that placement at the table. And then, yet right at the end, he does manage to pull out of the hat a series that I like. It's nothing brilliant, but I like it. The pilot, not bad. Smile, not bad. Thin Ice, not too keen on that. Knock Knock, not bad. Then you've got Oxygen, which is brilliant. You've got Extremis, which is brilliant. You've got Pyramid at the End of the World, which is And then you've got Lie of the Land, which is fucking abysmal. And then what else do we have in that series? Eaters of Light, Empress of Mars, that's good. And then World Enough in Time, which finally the Cybermen have got right in New Who. And then the Doctor Falls, I'm not a big fan. I don't know why everybody else likes it so much. Maybe I should do a video on that. Because I mean, I've already done the panel discussion. But I feel I should do a video on why I'm not as keen on that. But I have to say what really drives this series up is Bill. Because Bill is actually a really likeable, down-to-earth companion. Which, Christ, we've needed for a long time. We hadn't had one since Donna, who was a companion nearly 10 years ago when Series 10 broadcast. And yeah, she was such a breath of fresh air, and part of why I like the series. Capaldi's Doctor, I wasn't very keen on him in Series 10, aside from in a couple of episodes like Oxygen, he was really good. I hated Missy's so-called arc, because it wasn't actually an arc, because there was no reason for her to change. She just kind of did it just cause, which was crap. But aside from that, still good series. Not going to shit on it. I do like Series 10. And Series 11 going to Paul. Yeah. Honestly, it's lucky to escape not being abysmal, to be perfectly honest. Should have been... No, I don't think it's quite bad enough to be an abysmal. So there are a couple of decent stories from Series 11. I like Rose, I like Demons in the Punjab, and I like It Takes You Away. They're nothing brilliant, but they're enjoyable enough. The Woman Who Felt Worth isn't too bad either, but the rest of it, man... The Ghost Monument is just like... It feels like they're trying to cram a 6-parter in like a 2-minute YouTube clip. You know, that's how little ground it actually covers in and of itself. Arachnids in the UK, probably one of the worst written, like just in terms of pure writing, ever episodes of Doctor Who. The same with the Zaranga Conundrum, and that one's got appalling production too. That one's absolutely atrocious. And then you've got like... God, I'm struggling to remember some of the episodes from it. Well, obviously we've got Ranskor out of Kolos, which, man, what a dreadfully boring story. Can't stand it. At Series 11, man, it's so drab. All of it's so bland. The only stand-up bits were Graham and Ryan. Everything else was boring, characterless, dry, got nothing really interesting to it. And man, it was the Jodie Whittaker era was off to a very poor start with that. And it only got worse, sadly. Now, there isn't actually a Series 12 on this, but there is, for some reason, extra seasons 10 to 14. So I'll just use the Season 12 again. But bear in mind, this is actually Series 12 we're talking about, which is worse than Series 11, in my opinion. It tries to fix the problem with Series 11 just being so boring and out of ideas by basically trying to do, you know, a Moffat season with like a kind of season arc, which is kind of teased halfway through, then revealed at the end. But it's done in such a... Moffat's arcs already weren't very good, but somehow it's made even more tedious by Chibnall. And there's not many good stories. I mean, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, that one's alright. I like The Haunted Villa Diodati. The rest of it, not really very keen on. Most of it's just pretty painfully average. But then you have The Timeless Children, which, man, is dreadful. It's almost as bad as Hellbent, to be perfectly honest. I've came around to that opinion. I don't like what they've done with the pre-Hartnell Doctors, but even if I did like that, I still would think the story was shit, because it's told in such an appalling way, because it's all just exposition. It's all just dull exposition. And I could go more in depth, but as I said in my panel discussion, I just don't even want to talk about that episode. I so strongly dislike it. Oh, now the Chibnall era it's almost setting a new bar of awful. Like, at least Series 9 had Heaven Sent, you know. We haven't had like a story I'd even consider great from the Chibnall era, but let's save shitting on the Chibnall era for another time. But yeah, here we go. Here's my tier list. Probably a bit controversial. Lots of interesting picks. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me how much you vehemently disagreed in the comments, and make sure to call me a wanker. And then subscribe anyway.